So, welcome back to the Barrett channel. I'm here today with Matt from JO Nation.
Howdy.
If you don't know his channel, go and check it out. Links down in the description. Right, so I want to talk about TikTok. A couple of days ago, President Trump of the US, he signed an executive order to ban TikTok. And I just want to talk with Matt here, what he thinks about that. So, Matt, what do you think about that?
I don't know. It seems out of left field as a normal policy move at this point in time, but it makes sense with the fact that Donald Trump needs to be reelected. So he's looking to paint China as the big enemy to distract from a lot of things that he's done poorly. Yeah,
you see, I see that China have banned pretty much most of, American social media apps. So you could argue that China are justified.
Tit for tat,
But I think the reasoning's kind of different. You see, a lot of those American social apps break the laws of China, whereas they've cited a national security issue over TikTok. Now, this is where I kind of can't, level this, because so they've said it's like, oh well, because we don't want the Chinese government getting information of American citizens, like their pictures or their names and this kind of stuff. But surely, if the Chinese government wanted that information, they could just go to Facebook or, some of these other social apps and get that information.
Yeah, most certainly that the Americans are collecting data on other. I'm American, and so when Snowden came out and you found out that there was this huge CIA operation to collect all of our personal information from all of our mobile phones and stuff, it was kind of revealing to maybe some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes just in America, And but the difference is that whole addendum that Trump put on that was saying that, okay, we're going to make an American company buy up all the business in America of this Chinese company, and you know what? We're going to take a cut of that.
Yeah, they're going to pay key money.
It's just a very weird way. It's like, okay, that would be like China saying, we'll allow Facebook in China, but we got to make sure a Chinese company buys it, and we also have to make sure that the government gets a cut of that situation. It just seems
this
odd.
is very, very weird. I think TikTok, there's a lot of people, I would imagine in the US, are going to be really pissed about losing TikTok, because they make their living from TikTok.
Yeah.
And, I just can't square this. My personal opinion is that this is the first sort of Chinese app that has really challenged the dominance of some of the American social media apps. And I wonder whether this, like you mentioned, it's a whole, Trump wants to be seen to be hard on China to boost his election chances. And I really just think this is a very, short. Will it backfire on the US?
Hello. Oh,
and they're then trying to talk about targeting WeChat as well. WeChat's not really an issue because WeChat's not a really thing in America. But certainly TikTok's pretty massive there. And I can't help thinking it's a mix between, a knee-jerk reaction of Trump because he thinks it looks good for his re-election chances, as well as is it a competition thing, because it's kind of okay if it's owned by an American company. And the crazy thing is this thing about data going back to the Chinese government. Actually, all the data is hosted on servers in the States, and the CEO, because you can't go on to Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, and find the TikTok users, and vice versa. They're run as completely separate entities. So,
his server's in Singapore, right? The TikTok server is in America and Singapore. So from what the TikTok representatives say, they're not owned by the government. They're actually doing their own business, and the servers aren't even in mainland China.
That's right.
I guess the bottom line is that a government can do whatever they want.
Yeah, absolutely. But
just like China's blocked a bunch of things, America can do the same. It's up to them. It's just the reasoning behind it seems so timely and so wild that obvious it's being used as some sort of a ploy.
Yeah, this is, I think, the thing, you know. If they want to block it, fine. They have every right to do that.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
However, why don't they be honest about the reason, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems to me every policy that's being made...
The reason would be because I want to be reelected.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everything they do, it's like, oh, that's a national security issue.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure TikTok has no threat to national security whatsoever.
Yeah.
And there's all these things, right, that about, the data center. There was a story out about a year ago about, there was all these extra chips on motherboards sending data back to China.
I remember that
Now,
story.
that's bullshit, because if you run a data center, right, you have a firewall around that data center. If you're managing that data center properly, you'll know everything that's going in and out of that data center. So if there's something being sent, you'll know about it. You just block the port. Simple. So, you know, but do you really think that they will go through with this?
I think that we are going to see a lot of strange things up until the November elections. I think that it's so obvious, the motivation to me, that TikTok, we're going to see a lot of ramping up. We're going to see a lot of rhetoric. And I think the tough thing is that I think Trump is in a tough spot. He's got a lot of pressure because he knows he's going to have a lot of pressure after he loses, if he loses. Yeah. So there's a lot riding on it. And the common enemy right now is China. And if he can create as much buzz and as much anger. So, I mean, I think that this TikTok thing is going to be among many crazy things that you're going to see against China in the next few months. I mean, it sort of worries. Worries me.
And I think that from what I've read in the last day or so, China are really digging. The Chinese government have now got involved and saying, look, we're not going to allow this sale to happen, because I think if that happens,
it's a precedent.
It's a precedent. That's you know, and it's just the way they've done it. Like we say, this statement about that you know, the U.S. state needs to have part of this deal. That's kind of really weird.
Because I think it makes if they said TikTok can't be in America anymore, that's
their decision.
Thing. That's fine, you know. But the whole, you got to sell it to an American company and we got to get a cut thing. Yeah. Once you add that to the deal, it just sounds strange to me.
It's really weird, guys. That is not normal kind of practice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so Trump can then sort of go out and say to the people, oh, look, you know, I'm making China pay, just like he does with the tariffs. Yeah. Realistically, American consumers are paying those tariffs. Yeah. But Trump tries to get everybody to believe it's China who are paying those tariffs, which is just nonsensical to me. And it's almost, to me, it's the same thing with this. It's like, oh, look how great I am. I've banned TikTok, or I've got them to pay a huge, you know, a huge thing into the coffers of the American.
See what I did. Yeah.
And I just,
it's
you know,
performative, you know.
But I think, like you say, it's going to be really interesting to see what will happen in the next few months.
You know what I worry about is that no matter what happens after Election Day, you can't just stop the anger.
No.
You know, you can't just put well, it's not a big deal and we're done. This anger towards China, this sort of aggression, it's going to continue regardless of who's president, just because everybody's kind of got it into the zeitgeist. It's part of that emotional anger. It's, you know, the COVID virus and everything else, and everybody's so angry about everything, and there's so much disruption, and everybody wants an enemy. And so if they're catered to be angry at China for this and that and this and that, you can heap whatever you want. And they're going to believe it, and they're going to get angry about it.
And it's going to take a while to sort of change that thinking back.
Yeah.
Because there's a number of people I watch online, and they suggest if Biden does become president, he will have a whole different way of dealing with it. But
I think there will be some, but he'll have to abide by a certain emotional framework that China is. You know what he'll say? Well, you know, China has been the enemy, and what they do is really wrong, but let's kind of move, you know, he'll have to like preface everything with this. And, you know, listen, we've been in China for a long time. China's not perfect.
Of course.
They've got a lot of things going wrong, and you can definitely talk about a bunch of things, just like you can talk about America and many other countries. But the fact of the size of the demonization is way overstated.
Oh, absolutely.
At least my opinion.
Yeah, I think personally, I think the Chinese authorities and China, people and companies have been very restrained. They could cause America a lot of problems if they wanted to. And I feel it's that, all these things that are happening in the States, it's very knee-jerk. Whereas China, they look at a more strategic, long-term thing. And I personally think that China are waiting to see what happens at the election before they start making their moves. They made a speech yesterday or the day before. They're trying to reach out to America to say, look, let's calm things down a bit.
I think China in general thinks way more long-term. They're not flipping an entire presidency every 4 or 8 years. They've got the opportunity to think more long term.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder. Like right now, it's TikTok and WeChat. What's next? It's just getting absolutely crazy. Anyway,
where are we?
we've walked down the river, and it's been a lovely walk down here. So that wraps that conversation up. It's been really interesting to get your comments down in the comments section. Obviously, a lot of people have very opposing views on this. Please leave the comments. As I said earlier, go over to Matt's channel if you haven't been there.
Yeah, and if you use TikTok or you make money from it, hit up in the comment section. I mean, I wonder, because we don't use TikTok too much,
Not at all.
So I'm curious, is there anybody out there in the comment section that uses it, that's going to feel hurt by having it potentially banned in America? And like I said, if you have time, you watch my channel. We did a lot of stuff in the last few weeks together, and we'll have a lot of cooperative vlogs, Jayo.com.